We are stepping into Virgo season. If you are wondering what the next month or so has in store for you, stick around, grab your tarot journals, and let's find out. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name's Leesa. I'm a certified tarot consultant, and on this channel I do all sorts of tarot related videos, including month ahead readings and Tarotscope readings like this one. If you've not been here before, welcome. Feel free to hit that subscribe button so that you can come back every month or every season to make sure that you are seeing what's in store for you. Hit that like button as well, certainly helps out. If you are new, welcome. If you are coming back, welcome of course as well. And grab those tarot journals, guys. Make sure you're getting this stuff jotted down. So just a quick overview as a reminder of how I work my Tarotscopes here. In the beginning, I will discuss a little bit about what we can expect out of Virgo season, and then I will pull a card for each of the signs. I have a video about which signs you should be taking a look at, and I'll include that down below and up here in the corner as well. So if you haven't seen that yet, you want to go ahead and take a look. Once we go around the entire zodiac, then I have a final reading at the end that I will pull for absolutely everyone. So make sure that you stick around and get that last bit, and you will be flexing your intuition at that time as well, because you will be picking a card. So let's just talk a little bit about Virgo season. So Virgo season starts, end of August or thereabouts every year. I have a place in my heart for Virgos because I actually have a Virgo moon, and so I definitely see I guess the good and the bad of this particular sign. So Virgo is an earth sign, but it's mutable earth. So it's all about this idea of taking in details and what we see out there and kind of processing them. There's a lot of really good, supportive, helping, optimizing energy that we see within a Virgo. They tend to be fairly selective. They tend to, Virgo energy tends to be that idea of really analyzing and looking at things closely. Some of the negative sides tend to be things like, over planning or over analyzing and getting that analysis paralysis. So, what does this mean, when we look at Virgos in regards to the season? Well, we're coming off of, that Leo season where things are just kind of big and bold. And now we're sort of taking a step back and looking at kind of what the details mean. And so you might find that every time this season rolls around in the year, that you see yourself kind of reflecting, saying, hey, where have I gotten my goals? How far do I have, before my next milestone? You might see yourself doing this in regards to your work life, your home life, your love life, all of that. Okay, definitely a period of reflection. So let us see here. Almost got this going. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and for each sign, I'm going to pull starting with Aries and working my way around. I will put the timestamps down below. I always recommend that you look at your sun, your moon, and your rising signs. So jump around to those few different signs, and then of course at the end we will do that oracle reading. So I will see you there. All right, let us start with Aries. And Aries, let's see what your card is for this month. And wow, if ever there was a card for Aries, we have the Ace of Rods. So this is a season for you to really take some of that Leo energy from last month and continue to push forward with it. Look for new ideas, look for new activities, look for new passions in your life, look for opportunities to find these new things and see what you can do to push that stuff ahead. This is the season for you to really look also at those things internally that make up you. Okay, so think about those things that make you different from other people. and focus on those things. I'm getting a lot of, when we talk about that self-reflective piece of Virgo season, keep that in mind, but focus on those aspects of your personality and yourself that tend to be very dynamic and willing to kind of jump at things and jump at new opportunities. All right, moving to Taurus. And Taurus, we have the High Priestess, but for you this month, it is reversed. So there's kind of, there's sort of two things that I'm getting here for you. And one of those, just right off the bat, thinking about Virgo season, has to do with that idea that sometimes we tend to be over analytical or overthinking when it comes to things and not listening to our gut or to our intuition. So I'm really getting these two similar but not quite exactly the same messages here. So what I want to tell you for this month is that there may be a tendency for you to try to overthink rather than listening to your heart or your center or your intuition. You want to take this particular card and flip it. Okay, listen more to what your intuition is telling you, listen to your gut, all of those things, because this could be a season, especially with, Virgo being an earth season and you being an earth sign. So keep that in mind. Try to flip that around. Just a tiny bit of a warning this month for you going into this season. All right, moving to Gemini. Gemini, we have the Two of Rods. So I love this for you because what I'm really seeing with this card for this season has you thinking about, not just considering and analyzing throughout Virgo season, not just considering and analyzing what's before you, and not even looking at what this traditional idea of a Two of Rods meaning might be where it comes to making decisions or whatnot. True to Gemini nature in the kind of what I'm feeling here for you is that you want to find a way to kind of move right down the middle with something, or make two things that may not look like it's going to work with each other work together. That is something that Geminis tend to do very, very well. And this is a month for you to think about some of those problems and issues that you have ahead of you and make those things work for you. How can you blend those things together? Whether this is your sun, moon, or rising sign is going to indicate where that is. But think about that idea of blending or making things work in tandem with each other. Moving to Cancer then. Cancer, we have the Emperor card for you. This month is a great month for you to really step into your own and kind of claim what is yours and take control over some of those aspects of your life that might be getting out of hand. Now, take a look on whether or not this is your sun, your moon, or your rising sign, because that's really going to indicate where you need to kind of buckle down or get a bigger grasp on things. Not that you want to be overly domineering, not that you want to be, overly bossy or, dictatorial at all, but there are times in our lives when we have to make sure that we are seizing control and making sure that we are, calling the shots and making decisions. And so this is calling on you to review that aspect of your life and see what you can do in order to make sure that you are the one running the show. All right, moving to Leo then. Leo, we have the Three of Rods for you. All right, Three of Rods, but it is reversed. So when it comes to you, Leo, this month, I know we're definitely coming off of that month of that season of Leo, and you might be in a position where last month you had a lot of energy, or last season you had a lot of energy, and this month it's more about kind of waiting. I see a level of impatience coming ahead for you. I see where you might be frustrated because there are things that you thought were going to be coming through and they're not coming through for you. So try to be willing to take a little bit of a back seat. Remember that things sometimes take time. You can't always make everything happen right now. And sun, moon, or rising, think about how that's going to impact you and take a look at that. All right, moving to Virgo. Happy birthday if this is your sun sign. And we end up having the Nine of Rods. Wow, lots of fire in this particular spread, which is very, very interesting. So for this particular card, I always find this card to be really an interesting card, because what we're looking at with this particular energy, it is a card of bounty, and it's a card of having a lot of stuff. But sometimes with a lot of responsibility or a lot of stuff comes the need to overly manage those things or to protect what you have. And you spend so much time kind of seeing what's around you that you're not able to focus on anything else. And so Virgo, I'm sure you don't know what I'm talking about there, right? When I say, looking so much of the details that sometimes you miss what else is going on. So this is just a reminder that, you are going to have a lot going on this month in regards to what, whichever sign this is, sun, moon, or rising. Make sure that you're looking at the whole picture. That's my advice for you. Make sure that you are not nitpicking down to the tiniest little piece, as might be your tendency to do this season. So keep that in mind as you move forward. Okay, moving to Libra. Libra, we have the Eight of Cauldrons, but it's reversed. So whether this is your sun, moon, or rising is going to indicate really what area of your life we're looking at here. But I would really encourage you to take a look at maybe a change or something that you've stepped away from recently. Like I said, it depends on your sign, whether we're talking about sun, moon, or rising here. But when I see the Eight of Cauldrons, but I see it reversed, what I think about is this idea of needing to return or making an error in rushing away too quickly and needing to come back and confront something. Something's not wrapped up, something's not finished, something needs to be handled more appropriately. And this could be anything from a relationship to a project that wrapped up poorly to just something with yourself that you need to take some more time, just revisit. So there's this big, returning home or returning back to, excuse me, redo something that was not managed appropriately the first time. Okay, moving to Scorpio. Scorpio, for you, we have the King of Rods, but he is reversed. So I'm seeing so much fire, guys, in this particular spread, which is really interesting, considering that we're in an earth sign. Then again, in the Northern Hemisphere, and especially for me where I live, it is hot. So maybe that's what's going on. But whether this is your sun, moon, or rising, guys, this is going to really play a huge part on how this is impacting you, because anytime I see this particular card, it deals a lot with, oftentimes for me, internal energy. And that's what I'm getting right here. Internal energy and the way that you are approaching things. Okay, so when I see the King of Rods, but on his head, I see someone that is... and I'm getting two things here. I'm getting someone who is not moving when they should be moving on something. So refusing to make decisions, refusing to move ahead. There's also that idea of being a tyrant or being hot-headed, or, that whole my way or the highway concept. And I'm seeing that as well. So think about, sun, moon, or rising, where is this landing? Is this impacting your relationships? Is this impacting your personal goals? Is this impacting just kind of your emotions and the way that you are, sifting through the world? And think about those two interpretations and be aware of that as you move into the next month, because there is a tendency for you to react in those ways. And when we see this, we want to try to flip it upright, if at all possible. All right, Sagittarius, let's see what is in store for you. And we have the Page of Rods. All right. So for you, I love this because oftentimes I see these as messages, and especially in this particular deck, you can see that they actually have like little messages held by, each of the pages. So I would definitely be on the lookout this month for a message coming based on something that you are passionate about and kind of deals with things that go typically with this particular suit. So, and it's hard, guys, because, whether this is your sun, your moon, or your rising sign is going to impact how this hits you. So think about things that are coming your way, or messages coming your way in regards to projects. in regards to passion projects or things at work, anything related to your workplace, anything related to, you know, really passionate people that you know. And whether or not this is your sun, moon, or rising is going to indicate whether or not this is kind of impacting you internally or externally. It's very open, but the messages piece is really coming to me. So keep an eye out for what's coming your way. It may end up being actually physically handed to you, or it could be something that you are going to need to really keep an eye out for. But keep that in mind, Sag, as you're moving into this month. All right, looking at Capricorn then. Capricorn, for you, we have the Two of Pentacles. And what a very earthy card for an earthy sign in an earthy season. So Capricorn, we're kind of on the opposite side of the wheel, not quite, but close for you. I think this is a great time of year, especially within Virgo season, where we talked about that idea of analyzing and looking closely. You know, Cap, for you, you know, you're all about, you know, kind of taking what can be there in terms of, you know, tangible stuff and turning it into something even better and having some great starts with it. So I would suggest for you, whether this is your sun, moon, or rising, look at those things that are already foundational for you. How can you balance what you already have working for you and push it forward to the next step? I'm seeing sort of an in-between space here for you. And where things go for you in the next season, the next month, is going to be determined on how much you put into it this month. So sun, moon, or rising, depending on where those land for you, think about how that impacts you. How can you put something more in this month in a very methodical way to get more out next month? All right, Aquarius, 10 of Rods, but reversed. All right. It is time for you to just walk away from whatever this is, guys. So if this is your sun card, then you might have some sort of internal project or whatnot that needs to be, or personal project, excuse me, that needs to be maybe thought about or reworked, or some goal of yours. If this has to do with your ascendant, then you might be looking more at kind of how you're approaching other people. And if this is your moon sign, then of course you need to look a lot more internally, kind of at your emotions, those things that kind of allow you to sort of synthesize things. How can you sort of walk away from things? 10 of Rods reversed for me is one of those things where you need to walk away. You need to kind of drop all the sticks and pick them back up again. Actually, the funny thing is if you pick all these sticks back up, guys, you put them into one, you kind of get a big bundle, right? When we see the 10, it often means that it's time to reset, okay? When it's reversed, it means that, for me, in this instance right now, it means that it's definitely over time for you to reset. So keep that in mind. Think about what area of life that is, and, you know, really take this Virgo season of analyzing and figure out how you can work through that and then move on to the next chapter. All right, looking at Pisces then. Pisces, we have the Page of Swords, but it is reversed. So Pisces typically, you know, and this is an interesting card, because oftentimes when I think about Pisces and I consider, you know, how that Pisces energy typically flows through someone's chart, you know, it's oftentimes very, it can be very collaborative, it can be very emotional. But the Page of Swords reversed to me is just bringing forth these ideas of discord, arguing, petty bickering, levels of frustration. And so I would ask you to decide, you know, look at this, whether this is your sun, moon, or rising in that area of your life that it will impact, and decide, how is this going to impact that? You know, am I going to be on edge? Am I going to be arguing a lot with people? Am I going to be arguing with myself? Try to do your best to kind of flip this upright so that there is a better dialogue with those people that you have in your life. A little bit of a warning there for you, Pisces. All right, I'm going to go ahead and clear the table, and then we're going to pull up the last card here, so I will meet you there. So we're going to take a look at the spellcasting oracle cards. No matter what cards you were looking at here, this is a card that we're going to pull that is going to give you a bit of an action plan. That's one thing I love. One thing I love about Virgos and Virgo season is this idea of having an action plan and being able to distill things down to like, what is the next step? Okay. So what I'm going to ask for you to do is in just a second, you are going to be choosing one of 3 cards. So I'm going to ask that you slow your breathing just a little bit. Get yourself into a fuzzy headspace because I am going to ask you to tap into your intuition. And as a reminder, guys, this is a more general reading. So if you wanted something that was more one-on-one, I can certainly do that for you. Just reach out. And let me know in the comments below what you thought or what you think about your upcoming month. Hopefully things look good for you. So, all right, I'm going to ask that you take a look at these 3 cards and just decide which one of these is speaking to you today. So take a breath in. Okay. 1, 2, or 3. All right, if you chose card number 1, then this is going to be an action plan focused on your thoughts and in your head-focused things. The second one is all about your heart. Okay, so an action plan related to your heart. And then the last one, if you chose that, is spirit. So let us see what card that we got here. What steps do we want to focus on this season? And it's about Virgo, but it's also, of course, this idea, this theme of friendship. So when I see Virgos, guys, it's not just about that analytical piece, but it's also can be very, very helpful. It can be taking some of those abilities to kind of edit and optimize things, and it can be very, very supportive in those ways. So look for those connections. Friendship has to do with connections, right? Connections with other people. So what does this mean for you based on, your headspace or your heart or your spirit for this upcoming month? Think about how the people around you can support you. Think about how they can help you analyze your life or look at the details of your life and move ahead and make things better. And that is it for today's reading, guys. I hope you have a fantastic Virgo season. If you haven't given a thumbs up, I would certainly appreciate that. I hope to see you again next month, and have a great season.